Right, sound. Episode 49. Welcome back, guys. As always, a massive thank you to our sponsors, Usk Stoves, MP4 0JL, Vale Park View, for all of your heating and stove needs. I think we sold a few log burners now.
Yes, we have.
Which is banging. So get them in now while it's still warm, and then you will be nice and toasty for winter.
Yeah. First of all, mate, as we always do, how's your week been?
I've had a hell of a week, so do you want to go first?
Okay. Been good with me. Busy. Had the 5-week challenge start, which was really good. Started Monday. So I've been in here reviewing footage like a madman today in this little sauna. It is. We do not need a log burner in here because it is a sweat box. But no, that's been really good to see. Some new people lifting. Had a couple of people start as well. A couple of PBs from people. Training myself has been decent. It's been good.
I thought you meant PBs on week 1 of the challenge.
No. Yeah,
he's that good.
First week, max out. No, so it's been good, mate. I can't complain.
Have you been training?
Yeah, training's been going well. In a bit of a volume prison with squats at the moment, which is going again well. So the road to 200 kilos front squat, although I'm not posting any of it at the moment because I don't think it's very interesting, I am still on it, people. So people who are asking me like, how's it going? It is going. So we will be building a slightly different way to the first time I built up to it because that fucked me up for a while. Other than that, mate, all good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Someone asked me the same thing. I thought you were trying to squat 220, and I'm like, I'm still very much training. I just haven't posted any of it. And there's almost like side quests which are more important than training of actual life getting in the way. I haven't seen you since I went to the cinema to watch Toy Story 5. Mate, I sat there and cried like a fucking like a little kid. There's a bit. It's spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Turn off now for about 15 seconds.
For us, it's perfect. Give me 2 minutes. It's perfect because we were kids when it first came out.
Yeah.
So we were like like Andy's age or whatever the fuck. And then as we get older, I'm watching it now. My 2 kids are next to me, asleep. My 3 kids are next to me, but Jack's he's not paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're watching it from the point of view of the parents now of the kids in it, and you're like, oh my god, this is fucking heartbreaking. And then there's a bit with Jessie's, the girl who like gave her away in it, and you find out like she didn't forget about it. It's all very sweet and it comes together. And I'm sat there watching this kids film with a tear in my eye, thinking, oh my god,
crying in your eyes.
I'm crying. I look over at Abby and she's like, what are you doing? George and Lily are asleep next to us, just like not caring.
Yeah.
So I have been training. Little lifters. So anyone who has got a child aged 2 to 3, I put 4 to 6 on there, meaning 4 and 5, and when they're 6, that's that's almost like the cap.
Yeah, the top level. Yeah.
There's 2 classes. We will introduce you to running, jumping, throwing, all of these things you need to develop as a child to take you further in sports. Like, we're not trying to take you to the Olympics, but we're trying to build the fundamental movement patterns and all the things that you need to develop at a young age when you can develop them, and you will not forget them. So 2 classes, age 2 and 3, age 4 and 5, on a Saturday morning. So that's been like a long time coming in the background.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
You know when you see social media influencers and they say, "Hey guys, been working on this for a long time," and it's like an 8-week plan they've knocked up in the morning off.
Yeah.
Like this has been
months
3 months of like waiting on checks to come back. And the last little hurdle I had was I had to meet a lady about the village hall. And I don't know.
The venue, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever dealt with like retirees who've got nothing going on, but it's almost like, I might check my emails.
They'll get
month.
to you in a minute. Yeah.
So
that minute turns into a month.
I went and met this lady to book the village hall, and she was like kind of rude about it and like talked over me the whole time.
Oh, nice.
And as I was leaving, I was like, every question I asked her, she said, "Oh, that's a question for so and so. That's a question for so and so." And I was like, "Why am I talking to you? Like, where's so and so? Can't I just sort it with them?"
Yeah.
So as I left, I said, "Right, I need to speak to Simon," I say his name was, and she said, "Yeah, we'll get in touch." And so I texted her after saying, "Thank you very much for today. Really appreciate your time. Could I get Simon's contact number?" And she texted me back going, "I've asked Simon to contact you," with a full stop after it. I thought, I can fucking see where this is going now. So I spent 2 days trying to get this bloke's number. Find out the woman I met didn't even tell him I was trying to get the hall.
Nice.
So I've been waiting for like a whole weekend, just like
fun.
a plum. Anyway, I've sorted it. August the 1st and August the 8th, pilot classes are going to be running, which means it's absolutely free. There is a limit of 15 kids on it, and we've had quite a lot of messages so far today.
Yeah.
So we will sort them out, send all the forms off later, and see where we're at with it. But I'm very, very excited to get that going.
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
So yeah, life's pretty good.
Yeah, if you're messaging me about it, because I've shared his post, please message him about it instead. I'm just trying to funnel them his way.
Thank you, yeah. So you might have had more messages than me.
People are like, oh, I'll join. I'm like, no, wrong person. Send it over. No, it's going to be class, mate.
What's gone on in the world this week of sport?
Yeah, so we've obviously got quite a few different things actually going on. We got Wimbledon, we got the World Cup, you got the rugby, what's it called, Nations Cup.
Like Northern Hemisphere,
you got
Hemisphere.
UFC going on this weekend, which is huge. So I think if we go in order of what I've basically written down.
Wimbledon, I haven't watched any of it.
Mate, I watched some Wimbledon. Oh shit! I didn't even. I'm gonna have to keep talking a second because I want to.
Wimbledon, I can't really comment on, and I don't know anything about tennis anyway. However, it's one of those things. Like if I had someone come into me and they were like, "Yeah, I want to play tennis," I'm like, I am so into the training of it and getting better at all these things that you need. What happened?
Fuck. So basically, me and Sarah have. We usually do this. We'll watch Wimbledon now and again when it's on, when we've got fuck all else to watch, because I'm not a tennis fan at all. But we've watched 2 matches, and the 2 matches that we've watched have been outstanding, like wild. So there was one Djokovic played last night against Felix Aliassime, Canadian kid. And this guy, Djokovic, basically won the first, lost the second, won the third, lost the fourth, won the fifth. So it just went on and on and on. So to give you the extent, that they'd played, I think it was about 3 hours and 45 minutes at one point, and me and Sarah turned it off to watch the new Game of Thrones. Boring as fuck for you lot, sorry. But we turned it off. We watched that for an hour, went back onto it, and they were still playing. So it was like 4 and a bit hours then, and I went to sleep. I went to bed. I was like, fuck this. I got to be up at like 10 to 5. I ain't going to carry on. And she watched it, but Djokovic won, which is cool. There was another one, which was...
It's crazy how long the games do go on for.
Yeah, it's fucking... Like, to have that much concentration for that period is wild. This one was even better. So Arthur Frey versus Grigor Dimitrov, if I've butchered the name.
He won't watch this, mate. Don't worry.
So Arthur Frey is a British kid. I think he's 23 years old. He had a wild card entry into Wimbledon, so he wasn't expected. And this Dimitrov is meant to be decent.
Yeah.
Arthur wins the first set, then loses the second.
What flag is that? Like Hungary?
Bulgaria.
It looks like Bulgaria.
No, Bulgaria. I think he's Bulgarian.
One of them.
So he basically wins the first set, loses the second and third, and at that point you think, right, you're done for now, mate. You're cooked. Then he wins the fourth to get it to a tiebreaker, and then wins the fifth on 10-7, which was... I couldn't stop watching it. It was wild. So 2 matches I've watched at Wimbledon have been class, unlike the matches that I've watched for the World Cup. So we'll speak about the World Cup, because that was obviously one of the biggest things in the world.
I always get into the... So for sports that I'm not massively into, like... tennis, for example, when it gets to like the semis, I'll be like, okay, I'll probably watch it. So the World Cup at the minute has been very much like that. Like I'm not watching it like same as you. I'm up at 5. I'm not watching football at 2 in the morning. But I've always had a rule in my house. You won't like this as a Welshman, but if Wales aren't in it, I will support England. So if it's like
I'm not that bothered by that. Like I'm not like fuck the English. You know what I mean? Like I don't mind. Like I'll watch England and be like.
It was always like a joke in my house. My dad's Welsh and my mum's English, so it was like, obviously I want Wales to win.
Yeah,
playing the rugby. But do you remember the World Cup when England won?
Yeah,
rugby?
England rugby is different to England football for me. England rugby, I hope everyone beats England rugby. England football, I'm not that arsed. You know what I mean? So like South Africa beating England at the weekend. I love South Africa.
Yeah, class.
So that for me was a win-win, and also Wales winning, which we'll talk about in a second. But like, you know, England at the World Cup at the moment, and the big thing around them was the whole altitude scenario with beating Mexico, which again, like it seems like my luck at the moment that every game that I watch in the World Cup that I stay up for or I try and, you know, like make the time for are shit games. Like I watched Paraguay, Germany, 1-0, terrible game. Paraguay, France, 1-0, shit game. I watched Spain, Portugal. I watched Spain, Portugal last night or whatever it was. boring game right until the 90th minute. The games that I haven't stayed up for and thought about it, the Argentina game.
Oh my God, yeah.
Incredible. Didn't watch that. Incredible. England game against Mexico. I watched the England game against Ghana. Terrible.
Maybe it's you, mate.
Yeah, mate, I think it is genuinely me. Like, whatever game I watch seems to be... Watch the Norway-Brazil game. That was quite interesting, actually.
That's mental that Brazil lost to... I know, like, Haaland plays for them, but it takes more than one person to make a team.
But...
this is the thing, right? So the training at altitude and the thing at altitude. So, me, if I was... Years ago, say I was competing and I was going somewhere... Let's say it was Mexico. Say there's a big comp in Mexico and it's like, we qualify for this. This is really cool. I, with absolutely no backing behind me... would try and find a way to do some sort of altitude
Would
training.
buy an altitude mask.
I'd do something. I'd make an effort to. And then you've got a team of multi-millionaires that have got funding up to the ears.
Yeah.
You think they would
Well,
be
they
well
have,
prepared.
and but it's the media love to spin the story of now England are now the underdogs against Mexico, and like Mexico, yes, I think they had some crazy record at the Azteca Stadium where they hadn't lost, or they've only lost like 9 games or something like that in fucking their history. Don't quote me on that, but it's something ridiculous like that. But it was the whole thing of now England are the underdogs, and it makes it better if England don't do as well, and it was just like. England, they're like one of the richest. Well, it is the richest league in the world. Like you've got the cream of the crop to play with, and you're moaning about altitude. It's like every one of those staff members would have been informed. If Mexico go through and we go through, we will end up at some point playing at altitude. So get fucking used to it. Yeah. And it was just like, obviously, it looked like an incredible game, and fair play to England for going through. But
it's coming home, bro.
Yeah,
it is a real thing. Do you remember? So Cain Velasquez was like the fittest heavyweight there was. Didn't get tired, and he went and fought Fabricio Verdum in Mexico City, and the altitude just killed him.
Well, that's why boxers go and train up in the mountains, isn't it? You know, like genuinely, they'll go up to a certain height to. When they come back down, it becomes a lot easier.
Is it called? It's like Big Bear or something. There's a camp where they all go and train.
Yeah, that's it.
I didn't realize how high Afghanistan is.
Yeah,
all the boys that came back from there, it's like 3,000 foot above.
Yeah, I bet it's like fucking drinking air when they come back down.
Yeah.
The other controversial element to the World Cup at the moment is old Trumpy boy calling FIFA to get. Balogun's red card rescinded, and it fucking worked.
Wild.
That's even more
wild.
Like the first point is mental. The second point is even more mental. Like that's like, Starmer calling up FIFA, being like, "Oh, Quanta's red card should be rescinded." Everyone would be like, "Shut up, you fucking muppet!" It's Trump. He's called him up, and they've actually gone. You've got a good point there, Trump. I think you should get rid of that.
He was probably recording it though, and as he was saying it, he's like waving his finger over a red button.
Yeah. I know where you live. I know where your family lives.
But he's headshot anyway.
Oh,
so they're thinking, I don't really want to fuck with this guy. And they're like partly the hosts. Like I think you should just keep politics out of it.
Yeah, 100%. But the fact that he didn't even know what a red card was or why it was given, or like he just assumed that he made a statement. He was like, I don't even know what a red card was. And, if Belgium are going to beat us, we want to have our best teams on the field. And if they beat us then it's fair game. If they beat us with this red card, it's corrupt. And I was just like...
That's the rule.
I was like, if you have a player that does something wrong and they get red carded, it's the fucking rules. It's been there since the dawn of time. Stop trying to recreate shit. It is literally, Trump is literally the... it's my ball, you can't play with it.
I'm taking it, going home.
It's literally that situation. But it just shows how easily corrupted...
I just think you should keep everything out. It's football. It's a game. Keep everything out of it. Even to the point where, where they have like armbands for certain things. Oh, so-and-so didn't wear this armband. So-and-so with it. Bruv, I don't care.
Fucking football, mate.
Just play the game.
Did he score a goal? Like, did
it go in? Yes or no?
Yeah.
VAR ruined the game as well while we're on it.
Yeah. And going on to the VAR. So some of the refs have been fucking wild. Like, the game that I watched the other day, I watched Paraguay versus France. And Paraguay were... punching people off the ball, kicking people off the ball, like not even in play, like winding people up, pushing people over, doing all like really dirty tactics, like surrounding players. Not a single yellow card. This one guy had like 10 fouls.
What country was the ref from?
I don't know. Uzbekistan. Sorry, I did Google this. So he's from Uzbekistan. Didn't give a single yellow card to Paraguay. France had 3 yellow cards for nothing. So they had more yellow cards than Paraguay did. And I just thought at the time, controversial point. Should you be able to fucking sub a referee? So if a ref is having an absolute howler of a game,
who gets the vote?
But it's like, it's obvious. Like even the commentators were going, surely that's a yellow card now. He's had like 5 fouls. Yeah. Surely that's a this. Sure, like France had a penalty for a stonewall penalty, and the ref said you dived, and then everyone was like, oh, hold on, surely that VAR is going to get involved here. VAR did get involved, and then they gave them the penalty.
Yeah.
But it was like there was so many opportunities for the ref to be like, oh, I got that wrong. Like, let me go back on my word. But I just think if you are actually having, it's like if you're a player and you're having a terrible game, get subbed.
Yeah.
If you're a ref and you're having a terrible game, you should be kicked off.
But you should be held accountable anyway. If there's any form of like corruption or cheating going on, you should have your license revoked, whatever it would be.
100%.
Yeah, you should almost have a vote at halftime where anyone watching, anyone can vote, and if you feel strongly enough, sub
it's like
the ref.
Big Brother, press 1 to kick
the
off.
The rest
press
like
2.
that watching for the second
please
half.
Please don't kill me. But yeah, so that's going on. The World Cup's going on at the moment.
It's fun, isn't it? Like I'm going to pay attention to it in the. I'd like to watch. Well, it's Norway and England now in the quarters.
That'll be a big game.
Which is like 10 o'clock on a Saturday, which is I'll probably be in bed, to be honest.
Yeah, big game that'll be.
Yeah,
it's some big games coming up, which is cool. Moving on, rugby. Mm-hmm. Wales won again, which I put Wales rugby winning again with an exclamation mark. Now, I watched the highlights of the game because unfortunately I was in work for it, and we look fucking good, mate. Mm. Like we look. Going back to the start of this podcast where we used to talk about Wales.
Oh my God,
pretty much it was just Wales are shit. Let's move on.
We were sat in. Remember we did one in your gym. We did one or two there, and we were like, "What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Everything's gone to the shit." And then they are slowly crawling it back. Maybe they took our advice.
we did call it. We said, why don't we just concentrate on being physical and fit and being like athletes? And to be honest, like our set piece against Fiji looked really fucking good. We scored 2 driving mauls from a scrum, from a line out, and it was like we're actually out physicaling Fiji, the absolute monsters. And I was like, well, if we can do that against Fiji, then fucking hell, we can do that against most teams.
I was going to say that there's certain things that certain countries are good at, and the South Sea Islanders, like being big and strong and physical, is. That's it. That's bread and butter.
But it's weird. It's because they're so physical, but they're so good with their hands. Like they're so like these absolute monsters of men, but then they've got like such good like passing ability and skill work that it's almost like, now what? Like you've got this 6'5", 23 stone winger running at you. He's either going to run over the top of me or make me look stupid by like. Yeah, giving a little pop pass or so, and you think, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah, there's too many options.
Yeah, there's way too many.
But like, there's still other options in there for us. Like you said, the set pieces are really good.
Yeah. We didn't rely on them, but we played really well. I think it's important as well. Now we got Argentina next game, which is a more than winnable game. Which I think Scotland beat Argentina. We've got a chance of beating Argentina, which then would mean we've won 4 games in a row. Then I think it's. Yeah, we won Italy, the Barbars, which count it what you will. But then, obviously, Fiji, and then if we beat Argentina, before then we play South Africa. I think someone said it before, it's like, you almost have to learn to win again when you've gone through so many losses. Yeah. Like, so many games we played before these games where we won, where we've been winning and then lost. And it's like we almost didn't know how to get it over the line in those last minutes.
Yeah.
And you almost panic. Whereas now it looked like in this game, Fiji scored within the first 2 minutes. And we didn't panic. And it, like old us would have gone, oh fuck.
But coming off the back of a few wins, especially if we beat Argentina, it's nice to have a bit of a confidence boost. Like, boys, we are doing this. If we were ever going to beat them, it's now. And it's like, the longest yard. You have a tune-up game before the season. You beat the shit out of one team, and you think, right, no, we're
going for it. But then, obviously, South Africa is a different.
Yeah, it's the best team in the world.
Yeah, best team in the world. But so that's cool. And England lost. Good. So happy days.
While we're on England, so I had a video sent to me by a mate earlier.
Oh yes.
So it was the England rugby team actually. So it was Ellis Genge, very big boy.
Saw him. Have I said that before? I saw him in Amsterdam.
No.
Big old boy.
Yeah.
Big, yeah. What? Like, when you see people who are like big on TV, and then you see them and you go, you're even bigger in person.
Yeah.
Like the neck on him, it was like it was like what's his name from X-Men? Oh fuck me! The guy with the dome on his Juggernaut.
Yeah.
It was like him.
Yeah,
he was just a walking Juggernaut. Basically,
like when you see these people, like front to back, they're big.
Yeah.
Like someone was describing Brock Lesnar. They were like, oh, I'm like as tall as him because they were like 6'3".
Yeah.
But they said he's got twice the depth of me.
Yeah.
He's like me stood in front of me and just
each angle. Yeah.
There's 130 kilos of man. Yeah. Anyway, it was Ellis Genge and Henry Pollock.
Yeah.
Squatting, and they were just squatting to like just above parallel. Yeah. So it wasn't like they were quarter squatting at all. It was just above parallel. If it was a powerlifting comp, if it was equipped, they'd probably get it. But it was just above. And they were like, well, what's your opinion on this? Like with training, like should they be squatting lower? And I thought I sort of answered the question with a question of what are they trying to get from this? Is it safe? Like can they progress it? Like would they get more out of squatting an inch lower, like into the hole? Maybe. Does it matter? Not that much.
No.
No, as long as they're getting better at the sport, it doesn't matter if they're box squatting or they're front squatting ass to grass. Like if you've got someone who's got a great front squat all the way down, but they can't play rugby, or you've got someone who's fantastic at rugby and they've never squatted to anything other than the box, but it's never affected them. Like, does it matter that much?
Yeah.
So don't worry about the ins and outs as much. Worry about just getting stronger, just getting what you need out of the training. There was another video where Ellis Genge was training with some online strength and conditioning coach who was good, to be fair. And he was saying sometimes when they're doing accessory work, lat pull downs on the eccentric, he didn't call it an eccentric, he just called it like the way back up. The coach would hold the weight and resist it. And he's like, don't know why we do that. And he was trying to explain you can lower more weight than you can lift. But the fact that he didn't know about the training, it just didn't matter. He just shows up, he just gets stronger, just gets faster. That's all it is to it. Like, stop overcomplicating all of this.
Yeah.
Stop questioning it so much.
Yeah, and to do with the squat as well, the squat with Pollock and Genge, being in the scrum or in the pack, like, you're never going to be in a full squat position in a scrum anyway. You'll always be... Well, you don't want to be. You'll be in a position where the load before you hit is very much a 90-degree position. So if you're bent over and you go down into that position, you don't want to be arse on your heels. You're not going to be generating your power from there because you're going to be way too far away. Yeah. So it's almost more beneficial to be at that 90-degree with 200 kilos on your back and be able to explode through it than go arse onto your heels with 200 kilo and rely on a bounce.
Yeah.
So
if that's your strongest point and that's the position you spend most of the time in, good.
Yeah. Genge's got to hit far, Genge's got to hit that range of motion with another team directly. He's in the front row. So the connection, the impact of that other team hitting him is going to be far greater than 200 kilos. But if he can move 200 kilos rapid, then it puts him in good stead with two other boys next to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, don't stress about the ins and outs too much. Actually, I coached yesterday, so I still coach once a week. And someone asked me we were front squatting, and he said, what do you think of his head position? And this guy was leaning over a little bit, so the angle of his back wasn't like ideal, but he was making it work. And his head was doing this, so he was looking up at the ceiling, and his neck was like caved over. And he said, what do you think about the head position? Is that safe? And I was like, just stop worrying about it.
Yeah.
Just stop worrying. I was like, there's no weight through his neck. It's absolutely fine. Like, don't major in the minors. Don't worry about the little bits.
Yeah, I think I wrote down something to do with that, and it was like, is optimal culture now ruining training? Yes. Everyone is just, not even like, I don't even go back on a rant about watches and stuff like that. I'm not even talking about that. It's just like, everyone is so focused on the next plan or the next movement or how to do a movement absolute inch perfect. And I get it, but I think for a lot of people now, it's just the enjoyment. I don't see the enjoyment in training as much from random people anymore. Like, used to go to a gym. Like, I can't remember the last time I walked into one gym or walked into a gym, let's say, and I saw someone max out.
Yeah, good point.
Like, I can't remember the last time I walked in and just like happened to bump into someone and they're like balls to the wall deadlifting or balls to the wall bench pressing or snatching or clean and jerking, where you walk in and you just go, oh, I'm going to watch this guy because he's like clearly on it. It doesn't matter what's on the bar, but you just
walking it out. You're like, this is
clearly
heavy.
This is going to be an absolute monster lift. I can't remember the last time I saw anyone do that.
Yeah.
Apart from my guys who I coach at the gym or me.
Yeah, I some of these questions that you get in and the things that people are stressing about with like optimized programming, I think would Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman ever question this? They're too busy just fucking getting jacked.
Horse-cocking the fucking weight training.
You know, they're not worried about, they're doing power rows and they're not good for anything. Like, look at the size of their back.
If he's rowing 140 kilos, who gives a fuck?
They've got 5 plates on that bar. It's fucking clanging back and forth, those metal 20s, and you're like, there's no two ways about it. That is strong, and they are big.
Bring back that fucking culture. Yeah. I hope it does a full... everything goes in cycles, I know that, and I understand, like, the gym life and the gym kind of hype and... gym fads kind of come and go, and... You know, you see loads over the years, but I just hope this element... It did come back for a while with, like, social media, with, like, the Trend Twins and, like, the new social media aspect of, like, Larry Wheels. Like, they did bring it back where it was, like, cool to be on trend and, like, cool to be, like, slamming 300-kilo deadlifts and shit like that.
Shitloads of caffeine.
Like, I'm not on trend. I will never take trend. But I did look at that and go, yeah, this is fucking sick.
Yeah, it looks like fun.
Yeah, this is cool. Trend looks like fun.
Do not take trend.
But, like, I'm looking at it going, like, yeah, this makes me want to train. But, like, when you see the people and they're like, I better not go off program today because I've got 12% recovery and
fuck all that.
It's like come on, guys. Like, if the boys are in, like, I want to see someone, like, shout out if anyone from one gym is listening to this. I doubt it, but if you are, just fucking max out when I'm there and I'll come like fucking give you a high five or something, because I just want to see some crazy shit that I don't see, you know.
Even if it's just like a max set of like 8 or something, like, it's not gonna be crazy heavy. Just have a fucking go,
balls to the wall, just give it everything, you know. I love that.
100%.
Back to sport. Okay. So we've got McGregor versus Holloway.
I was gonna say the other arc with Larry Wheels and all. Now he's got into like actually training, jiu-jitsu and stuff. So it's all very much lifting weights is cool, but knowing how to fight is cooler. And I don't disagree with that at all.
Do you see the clips of him at the MMA the BJJ gym where he's like, there's a coach there and he's like, Larry's like, I'm X amount of weight, he's 135 pounds, like, I'll ragdoll him, and he's like, no, go on. And he's like, oh, but to be fair to Larry, he does say, okay, I'll go in the he
does have a go,
and he gets tapped within 30 seconds, and then the next guy comes in, he's like, oh, what about him? Go on, try and wrestle him. And the guy just taps him straight away, and then it shows him in the car afterwards driving home with his coach, and he's like, I've been fucking embarrassed. He's like, I'm a fucking bitch. But like, he's just been...
But we all knew it. Anyone who's ever done any... And like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm shit at jiu-jitsu, but... Anyone who's ever done it knows exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
If you've never done it before, you might as well be like, I'm going to go and play chess against someone, but because I'm 120 kilos, that's going to help. It's like, you don't even know the rules. It's not going to help you.
Yeah, you're going to get fucked up, regardless of if it's a man, woman, child. If they take you back, or if they grab an arm, or grab an ankle, grab your head, like,
you're done.
You're fucked.
You're done.
So speaking of MMA, McGregor versus Holloway, fight week 2. What are your thoughts?
I think the same as when he fought Dustin Poirier. I think Holloway's just fucking hard work. He's relentless. He doesn't get tired. I know McGregor beat him, but like, looking back on it now, Holloway looked like 17 years old. Like,
McGregor did have one leg though. Done his ACL mid-fight.
What, when he fought him?
Yeah, he done his ACL mid-fight and still kicked him with it.
Yeah, but it's like, we were on.
Have you heard that story of Holloway saying that to him?
No.
He said, McGregor kicks him, and Max was like, he kicked me, and he just audibly screamed. He was just like, and he fell on top of Max, so he almost like took him down, and they were in the bottom of the clinch or whatever, and Max went, are you okay, bro? And McGregor went, yeah, keep fighting. Just carried on.
It's just boys being boys.
Just like, fuck my knee. And he was like, you okay? He was like, yeah, fuck it, keep going.
Yeah, they're not bad guys. They're doing a job, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think Holloway. I like, if it was back, obviously it was back then, like, McGregor did beat him. But
it's at 170. That's the only thing. But I like my working, functioning brain says Holloway wins, because McGregor will get tired. Holloway will beat him up in some respect.
He's like a billionaire. Like, he doesn't need to fight.
But my heart says McGregor, please win, just for the comeback of dreams. I was listening to the interviews of him earlier, and he's just gone back to being like really calm and really like everything he says is really precise and thought out.
Religious McGregor.
He's the new character unlock is Religious McGregor. What's been your favorite McGregor? Because what have you had? You've had Cokehead McGregor, Religious McGregor. You've had
Money McGregor, up and coming like broke McGregor when he was like Cage Warriors.
You had Peaceful McGregor when he fought Dustin the second time, when he shaved his head and he was like showing his hot sauce off with him and being like friends with him.
That felt a bit forced.
And then the very next fight he was like, your wife's in me DMs. Just like fucking fuck you. Just instantly changed on him.
My favourite was the when he fought Jose Aldo and everyone was rooting him. He's like, if one of us goes, we all go to war. I think that was my favourite. Or when he fought Floyd Mayweather. Do you remember that guy that made the "There's only one Conor McGregor"? That one. That year was the best one. That was awesome.
Yeah, Floyd, are you listening? It's
that was brilliant.
I think. Do you think if Holloway does his usual points down at the canvas, McGregor will trade? Because if that happens early on, that could be dangerous for Holloway.
Yeah, he hits like a fucking train, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think they do that in the 5th round when Conor's blowing out of his ass.
I don't think he lasts 5.
Are they fighting 5 rounds?
I don't know, but I don't think he'll last. I don't think McGregor's got 3 to 5 rounds in him.
Yeah.
I think it will literally be 2 rounds, and if Holloway lasts that long, if McGregor lasts that long, I think it'll still be.
Well, when's the last time we had 5 rounds? Like Nate Diaz.
Diaz, yeah.
Can't remember, but he's one of those fighters like Francis Ngannou, like super powerful. He's not a Nate Diaz. He's not a Max Holloway. He's not someone that just peppers you for 5 rounds and just gets better as time goes on. Like, so if it does go longer, I'd say Max.
I think if Holloway can last Gaethje and knock him out in the last, I think he'll last McGregor.
Yeah.
But I everything in my heart says, please, for the love of God. Because imagine if McGregor wins this, apparently he's meant to fight next year, but he wants to fight this year. Imagine... Like, it wouldn't even happen, I don't think. But, like, imagine if he fought Islam.
I think it'd be the same as when he fought Khabib.
Yeah, of course it would. But the build-up for that would be horrendous.
I'm almost more involved, like, invested in the build-up.
The Khabib, like, having Islam and Khabib and then McGregor, like, you would almost have to get, what's his name back? Artem Lobov, the Russian guy Khabib fucking slapped.
They all fell out, didn't they?
Yeah, they all fucking hated each other in the end.
I forgot about him.
But yeah, that would be serious.
Yeah, I think he gets smashed by Islam, obviously, but I don't think it would come to that.
Yeah. Right. Going into a little bit something more serious now.
Okay.
So we've got the coaching corner. So I released this saying to pretty much all coaches, if you want to, you can message me and Sam, and if you have any dilemmas or problems, issues with clients, athletes, classes, whatever it is, then me and Sam will give our sort of like unbiased opinion on it. Maybe because we don't know you, we won't be it's
almost be better. Like, let's say someone messages me and I just tell you the question. Yeah. So you're not actually like, nothing's offensive because you don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah. We're gonna keep this totally anonymous, and you know it doesn't have to go anywhere like in terms of like named and shit. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're shit. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be anything like that. It's purely gonna be. It's interesting for us to try and work out as well on the pod, and it's interesting for you to
try and make it as helpful as possible.
Yeah, have an answer.
There's a lot of like shit talking with one PT to another. I know the pure gym PTs are wild on Instagram, but it seems like people make a career out of talking shit about people. Like Zach Talender's really good at it, and half the time I quite like it, half the time I think I just have a day off.
I do think I think it gets to a point where like I like Zach, the whole Diplo thing, I know he's using it as like a real sort of marketing push, and he's openly said this is how I'm going to go about selling it, but you do actually turn off fans then by like if the first clip you go, oh, that's quite funny, the second clip, oh yeah, that's quite, the third clip you're like, all right, mate, and then when it's like a week in and you're still arguing with a guy.
I saw one about it earlier, but so, do you know Alex Hormozy?
Yeah.
So basically he was going in at Alex Hormozy, made 3 or 4 videos about it, so he's got a massive following. I get that you're attacking him, but like Alex Hormozy, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, you make a video about him, he's never going to see it. He doesn't care. And I like Alex Hormozy more than I like Zach Talender, so I'm like, you just can't, like, I'm not into this. Just go after people who need going after.
Yeah. So, question 1. Right. So, this one, I coach a masters athlete 62 years of age that is struggling with shoulder mobility from previous surgeries. Specifically with the overhead squat position. I'm struggling with getting them lower, even with lighter weights. What would you do to improve this?
They're a masters athlete in presumably in weightlifting.
In weightlifting, yeah.
Okay, so they
they are a weightlifting coach.
Okay, I see. Right, I was going to say I wouldn't be doing overhead squats with a random 62-year-old, but the fact that they want to be a weightlifter at 62 is very admirable. So, do you want me to go first? Or do you want
go for it. Yeah.
I think there would be a lot of time spent on. It's hard to say. Like, what was the question? Have they got surgeries?
Yeah, so they got previous shoulder surgeries.
So it depends, like, if there's sort of an impingement or something, and realistically, what is the actual achievable range of motion you can get with it? Because it's all well and good stretching, but if you've got like
bone on bone,
or there's an impingement, or there's something's been fused.
Yeah,
there's only certain things you can do. Like if I'm raising my arm into like it almost looks like a Nazi salute, but a 45-degree position, and I can't go further than that. That is a conversation. You can't overhead squat with that.
No rubber band is going to pull that back.
So all things being okay, let's say in this scenario, they would be capable of getting a better overhead position. I would spend a lot of time doing mobility. I would spend a lot of time working these positions as safely as you can and trying to ease them in over time. I would get the absolute most I can out of their lower body positions. So a lot of like front loaded things, like similar to a front squat or a goblet squat or something, so they can be as upright as they can be in the squat. Because if I can get this, if my arm's over my head now, but as I lean my chest down to the floor, I can't get my arm behind me to make up for where the weight needs to be.
Yeah.
I need my lower body position to be spot on to make this work.
Yeah.
So it would be an awful lot of mobility, like everywhere. You can call it global mobility.
Yeah, shift the focus not just on the shoulder, shift it to everything below it as well.
But I would have an honest conversation about what is achievable, because 62, especially if they're getting into it now.
I think this person is already a competitive athlete. Okay. I think it's just more a case of, obviously, it's human nature to want to improve on what you've already got. So maybe it might not even be a case of, obviously I'm going quite like vague here, this might not be it, but it might be a case of they're a masters athlete, they already compete, and they're just looking to tidy up the quality of their lift. So trying to get that a little bit lower to make it look a bit nicer. They might not be necessarily going, right, I want to fucking snatch a million kilos. It might just be, I want to snatch a bit better.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, what you said there about the mobility from lower down as well, that's very good. I think you need to, as a coach, you need to really realistically ask the question of what is the depth getting you. So if the person is
green light,
if the person is snatching and they're snatching to a level of making lifts at competition, and they're not getting no lifted by those, that depth. If you add depth and they start missing reps at the age of 62, you're kind of going against what they're, what is at 62, what are your goals in the sport? Are you looking to go to the Olympics? Because if you are, you're not going to make it, kind of thing. It needs to be realistic. However, you also need to go, right, can I improve how I get the barbell to above my head more so than with bigger weight and get a bigger score at the age of 62 than if I spent the next 3 years trying to open up a shoulder that's impinged and is fused, Like if someone is snatching, let's say 30 kilos, and every time you try and go down into the bottom of overhead squat, that weight dramatically decreases to 10, but you can still snatch 30 kilos, keep snatching 30 kilos. Like, that's the aim of the game, is to snatch. But, try and make how you get the bar above your head better, easier, quicker, stronger. So then there is less stress when you get to those top end weights,
Is it going to be good to have a better power snatch and just completely avoid
the squat? You've got to ask that. Because if, depth isn't always the answer, like I say that with everyone, like you even if you have extreme mobility where you can sit on your heels, that's not always a good thing. You can have almost too much depth and rely on it so much that your legs just shut off. So, there's pros and cons to it. I think, like you said, there's only so much that you're going to be able to do with a surgery, a shoulder that's had a surgery on it. So I would say ask the question, if depth is really the only answer to improving, then yes, like you said, mobility. If it's not the only answer to improving, then I would say, look, focus on how you get the barbell to above your head, and don't purely focus on the sort of the way a barbell looks in terms of the snatch above you. So yeah, I hope that helps. We got 2 more. So next one. This is I think this one's relevant to everyone, because I think everyone has been in this position, whether it's a that type of injury or not. But do you want to read that one?
Yeah, everyone's hurt their wrist at some point, I know.
Yeah.
I have an athlete that's just come back from a wrist injury. It's fully recovered, but you can see it's bothering her mentally more than physically now whilst attempting heavy lifts. We've been stuck for a few months, and now nothing seems to budge it. How would you tackle it?
Right, okay, so the wrist injury probably is getting pissed off from the snatch or the clean in terms of like the flexion, maybe.
Presumably the wrist injury is from...
I think that's what's probably got in the person's head, that they've injured it whilst lifting. Now, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. Some people are like really mentally strong in terms of coming back from injury and they can just ignore it. Some people hang on to that for months, years, maybe for the rest of their life. Sometimes, how many times have you heard, I don't do that because I hurt my back once. Like I don't deadlift anymore because I hurt my back when I was 22. And you're like, how old are you now? Oh, 48.
Yeah. That's why it's still bad. That one time.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But in terms of mentally, what I would go about doing is I would shift the focus away from hitting top end max lifts. Just take it away for a moment, because if you're trying to do that for months on end, it's such a demoralizing feeling where you step up to the bar, you miss it, and you're not even attempting maybe to go under it because you're so worried about this wrist. And if you're seeing on the program every Friday, I've got to max it, you're just going to end up spiraling and hating training. What I would do is I would take away from that and I would go, right, okay, I'd pick maybe a volume variation or something that's lighter, that isn't as stressful to think about, but I would give you a PB that would suggest that you would be ready for more weight in the long term. So maybe I'd say, right, okay, let's do a max, let's build eventually to a max snatch triple. Now, obviously that's going to be at a way less percentage than you would be at your 1 rep max. But if you're hitting a PB3, then that pretty much says you probably hit a PB2, which will probably then give you the confidence to then start dropping it into conversation, being like, oh, well, Sam, you hit a PB2 at whatever percentage that is. You're looking good. And I would start just slowly dropping in the hint of, you're probably ready for a 1. You're on for it. Just slowly start to drop in the feeling of, it's there.
Yeah,
something's there,
I would do exactly the same. And you coach a lot more weightlifting than me, but if I had someone, let's say they've hurt their wrist in a clean at 100 kilos, take a step back, I would look at all the other things and try and build, it's confidence in it. You need to build confidence. So I would build confidence by building proof.
Yeah.
I'd take a step back. I wouldn't be hitting heavy singles on things because I don't want their head to go. I would improve like their pull from the floor. I would get that better than it's been. I would improve their front squat. I would look at getting to, like you said, volume PBs, whether it's a complex or whether it's like triples. If their 1 rep max was 100 and they hurt themselves at 100, take a step back, get their front squat higher than it's ever been. So you're like, right, you're capable of more. You did that, and that's where you hurt yourself, and now you're doing this, which is above that. So you're capable of more. Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah. And then you would get up to the point where they maybe do a double at 100. Like you said, and they're at the weight already, but they're not thinking about it as a heavy single. They're thinking about it as a completely different thing. Because the heavy single that they would be worried about is another weight. And then once you get back to hitting that weight that you were a bit worried about, it's not so much of a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So finding a way as a coach that makes sense to you and your client as well, because you'll know them better than we do, about building confidence that they are ready and they are capable of it, and in whatever way you see fit. But I think proving it with other lifts that you couldn't do before when you hurt yourself is not a bad way of doing it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You can do it. An argument against that would be, well, they're going to be more fatigued at that volume, so the chance of them hurting their wrist again appears. Well, then don't do it at volume. Do it at a movement that is their favorite movement. So I do it all the time with people. If someone's going through a rough patch in training, I'll say Sam, what's your favorite snatch variation? I don't care. Yeah, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a block snatch, hang snatch. I don't care if it's a double, triple. I don't care if it's whatever it is. I'm just going to give it to you. Like in whatever capacity. I don't mind if it's light, heavy, whatever it is. But knowing that you're going to the gym and you enjoy the movement you're about to do in the scary zone is far easier to deal with than if you're going to deal with a movement you don't particularly like in the scary zone of hurting your wrist. So, or back or whatever injury. It doesn't matter what injury it is. You know, we've all had injuries. And, you know, the important thing is, well, injuries happen to everyone at any time, aka Jordan Henderson for England snapping his arm, jumping over a billboard. Do you see that?
No.
Oh, fuck me. That's horrendous. Jordan Henderson, an England player, sorry to go off on a tangent, but Jordan Henderson, he's been taken to the World Cup as a kind of like leadership role. He was never really going to play, but he's been picked and everyone was kind of like, why is he being picked? Blah, blah. Anyway, England beat Mexico. They're celebrating. They go into the crowd. Everyone goes over the barriers. Everyone comes back over the barriers, and it's like a triangle barrier. He goes to put his hand on the barrier, slips off, lands, snaps his arm clean, like snaps.
Is that on video?
Yeah, on video. Yeah, on video. And it's like you can injure yourself at any point. You know, so like lifting, you know, you could go 10 years without hurting yourself lifting and then walk down a step and sprain your ankle. Yep. You know what I mean? So at some point you have to kind of weigh up as well with the athlete. What do you actually want? Do you really want to do this? Like the training shouldn't be a stress. So it's like, you know, having that conversation as well with them saying like, look, honestly, if you've tried all methods to try and get them out of their own head, you've just got to have a sit down with them and say, look, what do you actually want? Do you want to clean this weight? Oh, ice cream van. Do you want to actually clean this weight, or do you want to, you know, carry on?
Especially as a recreational athlete, if you're training for a sport and you are into it and that is your sport, like there's things that you're not going to want to do that you have to do. But if it's fun and it's not fun anymore, then just take a step back and you might come back to it better than you were before. Yeah. But if you're not enjoying it, then it's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
exactly.
This has to be.
It's got to be enjoyment.
This is a hobby for us.
Final one. I recently had an athlete bomb for the first time. It was my first bomb as a coach. And I felt quite panicked by the situation as she had never missed on those weights previously. Between attempts, I didn't feel like I got my point across clearly enough and felt a bit flustered by the whole situation. How would you deal with it? That's
definitely one for you, mate.
Yeah, so it's a hard one to, like, whoever anonymous, you've experienced it now, so you've felt what it does to someone. So first of all, like, it is a bit of a kick in the teeth when you watch your athlete bomb, because you do take a lot of like kind of blame on yourself and you're like, oh, could I have done more? Could I have done this? And in some circumstances, it sounds like you think you could have done more. In some circumstances, you could have had the best run in, give them the best warm up they've ever had, given them everything that they possibly need, encouragement wise, and like walk them out to the platform yourself, and they still bomb. So sometimes as a coach, you almost have to take the blame off of yourself a little bit. But in terms of between attempts, so this is where the athlete coach relationship really matters. So I've had athletes where they've missed their first two lifts and made their third. I've had athletes bomb. I've had athletes go 6 for 6. And there isn't a right or wrong way to respond to someone missing their opener. Saying that, sorry, the only wrong way that there is if you panic as a coach, like we talked about with Rachel last week. You know, just having
let them know you're flustered.
Having that, oh my god, what the hell's happened attitude to someone missing their opening snatch or clean a jerk just isn't gonna fucking help anyone. No. But like between attempts, I didn't feel like I got my points across clearly enough. Right, so what I would do there is there's a point at which you will look at a lift and you will know as an experienced coach whether it was totally like a technical point that they've just totally messed up, or whether it was like an energy point. So if someone was really nervous and they throw everything into it and they overpull it like crazy and they're going into it like 100 miles an hour, you've got to calm that person down. At some point, you've got to put the brakes on and say, look, you're going to be fine. Calm it down. think of your cues, like stay calm, take a breath, and you've almost got to bring them down. If they are nowhere near getting underneath it, and you can just tell that, oh my God, they're flatlined, like they're just showing no energy here, you've got to rev them up. So you have to give them a bit of a kick up the arse, and you have to give them maybe a couple of slaps on the leg, a couple of slaps on the back, just to kind of wake them up. And believe, like, why people get slapped is for that. You know, like to wake you. It's a physical response. Like the pain receptors, when you get slapped, it fucking hurts, but it wakes you up. So, you know, don't be against maybe giving your athlete a good slap on the back, or a slap on a slap on the legs, just to wake their legs up a little bit more. If there's something that's like technical that they've done wrong, like they're showing good energy, they're showing good sort of a good level of calmness, then it's like, right, okay, how do I fix that technical pointer? Well, what I've got to do is I've got to make that cue as easy as possible, and I've got to say it over and over again. So regardless of if they miss their first and second, what I'm not going to do is give you a cue on the first and then change it for the second, because then immediately for the third lift, that person is going, well, was it my arms that they wanted me to work on, or was it my pull, or was it my finish, and then the third lift is going to look an absolute mess. So it's like, you know, if your athlete has got called for a press out, then you've got to be like, right, okay, you've got to punch up against this bar as hard as you possibly fucking can. And that's the only thing I'm going to say to them. I'm not going to say, oh, you pulled, you're this, you're that, because then if the next lift goes wrong, I can't change my mind. I've got to double down. I have to double down, and I have to make that decision. And it's really hard to make that decision in the space of like 60 seconds sometimes, or 2 minutes. But you have to be brave enough to go, I'm the coach, they're paying me to be here, I know my athlete well enough, I'm going to give them this advice, and this is going to be it. And when I say it, I'm going to say it with chest. So if I think that they need to fucking wake up, I'll tell you, fucking wake up. If I think you need to calm down, I'll sit you down and be like, right, take a breath, and you will stay with me until I see you're calm, and then I'll let you go. If it's a technical pointer, I will choose that technical point, and whether it's right or wrong in that moment, I am going all in. I'm throwing all the chips on the table and going, this is how we're going to fix this lift, and whether it works or not, it then, the blame then is kind of on me, but that I can accept that. When you're in, you know, this circumstance where between lifts you didn't feel like you got your point across clearly enough, well, then you've basically just batted around the bush, you've hesitated, or you've not done something, or then the blame is all on you because you haven't been clear enough with your instruction, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I didn't get my point across clearly enough. That's partly a relationship with you and your athlete. You know what makes them tick. You know, like you said, if you need to bring them up or if you need to bring them back in.
Yeah.
But if you're in training, and obviously I get that it's not the same scenario, it's not a competition, it's really hard to replicate that in training.
Yeah.
But if they're making similar misses and you're giving them cues that aren't helping, and then you do find, you know, you change it up a bit and you find a cue that does help, that's you building this relationship with your athlete and of knowing this works with this person, that's what I need to draw towards, rather than, you know, things that don't work. And unfortunately, if you are a new coach, trying to find that out on the platform is a steep learning curve.
It's a hard one. It is a hard one.
And like you said, though, I know I'm all for everything in life is your fault and I wouldn't have it any other way, but sometimes you can do everything right and someone can just go out there and just 100%. Not have a good day, you know?
100%. I've had some people, I've had some Meg, one of Meg's first competitions for me, the Welsh seniors, she had a really good build up to that competition after coming to me for the first competition. That was a really hard competition for us because it was like, it was her first time with me as a coach-athlete relationship, and she bombed. And it was like, we had a really good training program. We had a really good relationship, really good everything. And it come to the day and she bombed. And it was like, fuck, we've done everything right there. And still something went wrong to the point of she bombed. Something that I think, give you another little bit of advice in terms of bombing or an athlete bombing, let them, after they've bombed, don't talk, but let them digest it first. Don't suddenly start going, oh, you know what? In training, we can change this. We can do this. The day of them bombing. Let them digest what's happened, because everyone reacts to it completely differently. Some people will try and play it off as if they don't give a fuck. Some people will cry. Some people will immediately kind of be really pissed off and angry. Some people will turn to you and say, I need to change this, I need to do that. Within a day of them doing that, I guarantee you'll get a message off them saying, "Hi mate, like, sorry I said that." Yeah. Like, and you've got to let that happen, because it is their, you know, their hobby, their life. They want to do well. So, you know, I would say if someone says to you, anytime anyone's, I haven't had many, but anytime anyone's ever bombed with me, I've said, look, we trained well, we got unlucky on the platform, we'll talk about it tomorrow, digest it, let's go get some food, let's, you know, calm down, and we'll talk about it. And you can tell me all of the things you think because I guarantee what they will do. I've had it so many times where someone doesn't do well at competition and they immediately say, I think we should do this, I think we should do that. And sometimes it's correct and you go, yeah, I agree, let's go for it. But a lot of the times it is a coping mechanism, because we are only human at the end of the day, and we're looking for a reason to kind of say, oh, it wasn't me, it wasn't my fault, I didn't bomb, it was because of my bad X, Y, week Z, this or my this I should have been doing. And you've got to let that happen. But at the end of the day, you know, they're still your athlete, they're still your mate, hopefully. And you've got to look after them. But yeah, I hope that helps, and I hope they don't bomb again. Should we end on a bit of a funny one?
I was going to say, I remembered halfway through the pod, so I had this message, I forgot, I'm not going to read the whole thing out. But essentially, the bullet points of the message was, I'm leaving the army. I'm not going to say his name, obviously. I'm leaving the army. Loves training. He's in good nick, to be fair. I want to be a PT. I don't really know any PTs apart from himself. Obviously, he doesn't know you. He doesn't know, like Meg or whoever you class as someone successful. I'm the only person he knows who does a PT as a job. Yeah. That is, you know, making a living out of it. Yeah. He said, what would you do? Like, can you help me? What could I do? How would I get started? He jokingly, not jokingly, said, might take a course of gear to get in good shape. And I obviously said, don't do that, please. He's only young.
Don't base your whole fucking life around gear.
Yeah, that definitely don't do that. But essentially, what would you do? And I know we've talked about what would we do if we started again, but this person is legitimately asking me, I'm leaving the army. What can I do? I want to be a PT. And I didn't tell him not to do it, but I said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's not as easy as it seems. And like I said, like me and Charlie are like over 10 years deep into this now. Like, it's not an overnight thing. And one of the bits of information I said was, don't cold turkey it. Like, I don't know if you've got bills or not, if you've got a mortgage, but don't leave the army to start with nothing.
Fresh, yeah.
Like, you want to, even if you had a job that was completely unrelated, you can still pay the bills. Unfortunately, most PTs, my busiest times are the unsociable hours. 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 4, 5, 6, 7 p.m., and then you can do something in the day. So you could get a normal job, or you could work in a gym, coaching, or doing something, learning around it, whilst building up a client base in the background. So I said, try your best to build it up outside of just quitting and doing that on its own. Get it going, get a bit of steam behind you. Maybe don't do it in like you worked in a commercial gym, didn't you, to start off with? I said, try and avoid that. They make their money through you. They don't care if you have clients or not. They just want you to pay £600 a month.
That whole thing is bollocks.
And they take an awful lot of money out of it.
100%.
But I also said it's not the job for everyone.
No.
Some people, I know I can think of one or two people that couldn't think of anything worse than being a PT.
Yeah. Because
it's a lot of making conversation. Like, you have to rest between sets. If you got 3 minutes and you're just sat there and both of you are sort of twiddling your thumbs, and it's, especially for young blokes who haven't got life experiences, that can be a really, really hard position to be in.
Yeah.
So without talking this person out of it, I was like, look, this is not easy.
Yeah.
This is a hard one to get into. I don't know what else I would add to that. I know we've been over it before, but it's a hard job to start afresh from.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Should we end on a bit of a stupid note?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Right, back to the stupidity then. So obviously I've been making some stuff online recently about like sports that I've found on Instagram. And yeah, they've done all right. We've had quite a few comments of people saying like, you should do this, you should do that. And I would do that, but it kind of takes away, like I said to you earlier, it kind of takes away the fun of me actually scrolling through Instagram, seeing something and being like, holy shit, I've never seen this before. I'll comment on it. So like a lot of people were like, oh, you should do the Thai boats that race. I've seen those before. Actually, I forgot to tell you this. A guy who races sidecar at the Isle of Man, Irish guy, he messaged saying, you should watch that. And I said, I said, there's nothing crazier than a sidecar driver at the Isle of Man. I just think that's the most bonkers hobby or job in the world. And I've actually asked him to come on the pod. So he said when he's in Wales, he'll come on the pod. So that'll be fucking insane. But anyway, I put a post up saying, make us a sport. So if you could make a sport out of anything, so like whether it's a fitness thing, whether it's two sports combined or whatever. And we had a couple, and there's one that Pewee said about chainmail gloves MMA. But they do that, don't they? I've seen loads of stuff online recently whilst looking for weird sports where it's literally like Stonehewer does it a little bit. He does like, I say a little bit, but he does like reenactments. So he'll go, he does like all that crazy shit.
Role models.
Yeah, but like serious stuff. Like he'll go full war environment, like, and he like cool. Pikes and armor and chainmail. Like he brought chainmail and a fucking full.
Do they actually like fight each other?
Yeah, like it's not like the ones we see now where they're like in a cage and they're dressed up as a knight and they literally beat the fuck out of each other with like those, hammers and shit.
I think you can choose your weapons. Obviously, they're not going to give you a sword and you're not going to fucking pike someone with it.
Yeah.
But they'll give you like
a mace,
like a wooden long sword, or you get like a flail. Yeah.
You're just hammering the fuck out of each other.
But they're going over techniques and stuff with it and how to do
like
this,
Superman punches and takedowns.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's crazy. But
go on.
Go on.
So I was say some of the fun sports that aren't sports that I have done either on like a stag or like someone's birthday or something. Zorb football was brilliant, and I was about 16 stone at the time, so that was good fun. Like you're in one of those big inflatable balls, your hands are by your side like a penguin,
just nailing people.
I can't remember if you had like things to hold on to. I can't. Anyway, you're in this giant inflatable football with your feet dangling out the bottom like Fred Flintstone's car, and you're running into other people and trying to like knock this other big bouncy ball into a goal, or foot golf.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant day out, especially if it's a nice day and you're having a couple of beers with the boys like that. The merger of those two sports is brilliant.
Yeah. The one I created was a fighting element to it, but it's the bungee cord fitness shit that you see, like all the like
they call it like zoo or something like that.
Yeah, and they literally basically they're in like a hall where they're attached to a bungee cord on the roof, and they're basically just running around, jumping and swinging and doing press ups, and it's like the shittest form of fitness because it literally promotes weightlessness. So like, what are you actually doing running around, jumping around, doing press ups with no weight? Like you might as well just scrap the bungee, run around, jump
do
around,
the exercises,
and do press ups.
Middle-aged women will do anything to avoid exercise.
Yeah. So what I've done is I want that, but I want combat added to it. So I basically want it to be like conkers, effectively. So you start off on two ends of the room, you bungee in, and then as you swing past each other, you just kick fuck out of each other.
Are you like running and then you like run and hit them and then it yanks you back?
Yeah, you run, you can jump, you swing, and you can just beat fuck out of each other and then it pulls you back.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Because, imagine how funny it would be to see someone get like knocked out, but like just slowly like swinging back, like ragdolling around, just absolutely sparked.
It'd be cool if you could move, like on a chain around the side, you can move where you're attached to. So you're attached in the same place, you run backwards and then fire straight into them.
Proper slingshot. But that was my to be honest, it's just to get rid of that shit fitness element, just to have like, right, okay, if you're going to do this, you've got to fight to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
A bunch of old women sign up for the wrong class.
Beating fuck out of each other.
What's the head guard for?
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I think that's us, mate.
Yeah.
Hour and 4. Yeah.
Beautiful. Right. Thank you guys, as always. If you've got any questions, fire them over to the S&C page and me and Charlie will get to them.
Yep.
Thank you to our sponsor, Usk Stoves. We definitely don't need you today, but we will need you this winter. NP4 0JL for all your log burners.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Spot on.